We're going to ponder an online dating statement or a dating statement in general that's going on in the realm of TikTok and other places. The statement is, if he wanted to, he would. Now, this is from Rachel Thompson and Mashable.com. Is that statement uttered in a matter of fact with a shrug? That's all over TikTok at the present. And hearing it as I swipe through my For You page makes me want to hurl my phone out of the nearest window. Don't get me wrong, there's definitely a lot of truth to that line. And I'm in no doubt that the intentions behind imparting this nugget of advice are honorable. But my question is it actually helpful? And is it always so simple? We've all had moments where we needed a cold, hard dose of reality to help us move on from someone who wasn't matching our energy and wasn't treating us the way we'd like to be treated. When it comes to situations like this, kind of advice can be helpful if delivered in the right way. But there are also times when someone you really like or love pulls away from you, and the last thing you need to hear is that it's because they didn't feel like any desire to pursue you. It's like rubbing salt in the wound. Though there's a lot to be said for telling a friend when they need to ditch someone who's treating them like an option rather than a priority, the "if he wanted to" line lacks nuance and generalizes greatly. Roasted Chestnut, or at __ Taylor Marie on Twitter wrote, if one more person on TikTok comments, if he wanted to, he would, I'm going to kick a window like, damn, y'all hear a phrase and run it into the ground. So this is new of hearing about the if he wanted to, he would. So here's what's being said here. Rachel here actually tells a story, and this might be give a little bit of context. So I opened Bumble and arranged back-to-back dates over consecutive nights. Amid a few rather laughably bad dates, there was one gem. The guy was funny, smart, handsome, had a cool job, and crucially, he liked me. On our first date, we realized we'd both gone to the same school and had grown near one another. It felt too good to be true. At one point in the date, he asked me if I wanted to go out and get something to eat. I felt a tug inside me that told me to leave, that I was too close to someone new. While getting ready for our second date, I had a panic attack because I was afraid he would try to kiss me. At this moment, I wasn't ready for any of this. And at the second date, we mutually called it quits because there didn't seem to be anything beyond friendship between us. We talk so often about wanting when it comes to our romantic and sexual lives, as if wanting and not wanting are binary. We forget that these wants are often entangled with a lot of other stuff, like attachment issues, loneliness, societal pressures to couple up, and myriad of other things. You can like someone but not be in the right headspace to pursue anything with them. Well, that's a lot of times that happens. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that, and it is something that I hear a lot of. I want to play for you right now a clip of a TikTok video from a user named at Binge City, BINCH City. Take a listen.
Something that bothers me every single time I hear it is the phrase, if he wanted to, he would. Not only do I think this is just really unnecessarily mean and makes people feel like they're not being treated well because someone just doesn't like them enough, it's also literally false. Because somebody can like you and care about you and still be unwilling and incapable of doing the work that they need to do in order to actually be with you. And it has nothing to do with you. It's all about them. It's literally like getting deeply offended that somebody with a broken leg cannot run for you. And you're sitting there like, why won't they run? If they like me enough, they would run. And it's like, look at his fucking leg. His leg is broken. He can't run. So stop attaching your entire self-worth to getting somebody with a broken leg to run and realize that there are people out there who actually want to date you and will actually put in effort and are capable of putting in that effort.
So I like the way she explains herself. By the way, she is an attractive, smart, intelligent girl. I like what she said about this and what she brought up. I think it was actually pretty cool how she put herself out there and made the point. So I could appreciate where she came from, and the idea is that most men and women might get their expectations way too high on who they decided they're going to date with. But I think people really need to understand, especially when you get on like a third or fourth date with somebody, you really need to go ahead and lay out what boundaries you want to put out. Because if you don't do that beforehand, and if you don't leave yourself out there open, most importantly, you might like somebody and you feel like there's a good connection between them. But the truth is, you need to go ahead and put yourself out there and realize if that person's going to be expendable or not. You need to make them expendable or not. So you have to be able to go ahead and not hold back what you think of the person. You should not hold back anything you want to say, because you want to be able to be yourself around somebody. And I think that's where the concept really hurts a lot of people. Because when you hear the if you wanted to, you would, well, then that is true, because the guy, actually for the sake of the woman and the other way around, you should make it where you're not holding yourselves back. And remember, the guys sometimes are being shy and they're being a little bit, aloof, and they're not being expressive because they don't want to go ahead and show their hand. That's also the other thing you got to think about as well. But also, if you're just happy to just be friends, you're just happy to be friends. But I think what's going on here is, you have to realize that when you're dating somebody for the first couple of times, I know this because I don't get past the first date. Or I get past maybe the second or third date, but I never get past it. So I've had many first dates in my time. Many. More than I like to claim that I have had. But my thing is that I've always had that problem where I was a nice guy and I was being too coy and trying to play all my cards right and trying to do everything I could to make it be absolutely smooth. And that's the other problem. Because we put too much emphasis on the first dates and the first times to leave an impression that we don't, you're leaving an impression of somebody that you're not. You're just putting your best foot forward, but you can't keep that up. There's no way you can. Some people, they might be able to do that, and then all of a sudden, well, let's just keep doing it up until I get married to the person, or if I put a ring on their finger, or I get them to be in a commitment with me. And then they start kind of slacking it off. But that's where some women might get that caught up. The truth is, be free to go ahead and say, you know what? Okay, this guy's not it. You might be you get some emotional attachment or some kind of emotional enthrallment to somebody, but you can't let that determine what goes on with you. You have to realize, women, you're so beautiful and you're so smart, and you have beauty when you're young, you have wisdom when you're older, and a mixture of both, no matter what. One is better for the other. Youth comes with younger, or beauty comes with youth, and then wisdom comes with age, right? So you just got to realize that in the initial sense, play to your strengths, and also don't be afraid to ask what you want. Again, why are you so worried about scaring somebody off? I mean, the guys also the same way. Quit trying to be scared to scare somebody off. They're either going to like you or they're going to not. Like, I'd rather just be out there and just be who I am, just like I am right now. Pretty much it. That makes me single and keeps me single, so be it. But I'd rather be that blunt and honest. If I wanted to, I would. And I'll leave it right there. I'll talk to you next time.